Welcome to the Den, where we are a source of inspiration by using our knowledge, experiences, and voices to empower women to move with intent.
Hi, I'm Michelle, entrenadora.
Hi, I'm Dr. Uchenna, the DR.
Hi, I'm Shirell, the socially conscious social worker.
And I'm Dr. Evi Taylor, AKA the People's Professor. And together, we are the Muse.
Hey!
So today, we're going to talk about the crab effect. And no, that's not the crab you eat.
And not the crab you get.
So fuck you nasty folks, get your mind out the gutter.
Exactly.
But what we mean when we say the crab effect is we're talking about how people try to pull you down, just like crabs. If you get a little bit of success, people just can't handle that, and they'll do whatever they can intentionally to interfere with your success. And it could be because of jealousy, just haters, lack of confidence in oneself. You know, there's a variety of reasons why people do that. So we just wanted to take some time and just kind of discuss that issue that we have, particularly in our communities. You know, it happens a lot with people that look like us.
So I was on Facebook and I was reading a friend's post, and she mentioned that one of her friends asked her to look out or be a reference for a woman that was applying for a job with her company. And she said on Facebook, I will not do that because every time I get to a company and I help someone, those are the same people that look like me are always there trying to bring me down and blocking my success, feeling like they have to do that to be successful. And I just thought, you know, that's a shame because number one, that's a narrative that goes on. Right. We don't help each other. Right. You can't have friends because you can't have girlfriends. You can't trust each other. And I don't know.
It's just like you're always wanting to outshine the next person, especially as women of color in the workplace when we are always the minority. And then you see another one, it's like you're stronger together, sticking together, helping each other out, enhancing each other, complimenting each other. And then you see it more often than not, it's like you want to be better than that particular person.
And you're not competing, you're not competing with the other coworkers. You're competing with the other woman of color. Right. Because like you said, Michelle, you know, you're wanting to outshine them. So, you know, some things that I see happen are people like, I'm not going to tell you or remind you when the meetings are. I'm not going to tell you like things that you need to know about what's going on or give you any heads up about things in the organization.
Right. And just so you know, that's called trifling. That's called hating. No, for real. It is. I mean, that's trifling, that's hating, that's whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's not a good look. And you don't need to do that because it's kind of like, we can all be successful. And like you said, if we work together, we are already powerful. Together, we can build on that power. But I don't know what makes people not see that about themselves, because it's all about the person that's hating. It's all about the person that's trifling. So there's something going on in their mind, to me, in their brain. I don't know.
But just look at all of us. We all are successful women of color that have been friends for 30 plus years, and we have helped each other over those 30 years. And like I said before, I wouldn't be where I am today without some of your advice and direction and motivation and all support. So I'm stronger because of you. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am. So that shows right there, like it's better to help.
Like, look, my girl just got a position that I know is gonna catapult her career. And it's with a company that I used to work for. And so whatever I need to do to make sure she gets to the next level, because her success is my success. When she looks good, I look good. It's kind of like I wouldn't let her go out the house looking bad. It's the truth, right?
Right, like that lipstick off your teeth. Look you up.
I feel in my heart so happy for her. When she became a doctor, I felt in my soul, because I know the struggle. When you know someone is struggling, especially when you know they're struggling because they look like you already know what's in their body. You already know. When they're successful, you should, I mean, you do, but you should feel just like I said. That's,
I mean, pride.
It's a sense of pride.
They're looking at like, you know, like your success is my success.
Yeah.
So, you know, when somebody of color is succeeding, that's a success for all of us. You know, we should appreciate that.
Think about the negative. Think about the negative. There's already enough negative. There's already enough negative. So when someone is successful, that's just one more person that we can say, check, we're not ignorant, we're not stupid, we're not anything. We are who we are, and we're successful, beautiful people.
Right. But you know what? When you were saying that, I'm thinking about how a lot of us buy into stereotypes. So, even thinking about like medical doctors, I've heard people of color, well, I've heard, especially I know Black people that will not go to a Black medical doctor because for whatever reason they're buying into, they think the white doctor is better. They think the Black doctor is not competent. Right. So you're a medical doctor. Some Black people may not even support you because they're believing that you're not as good.
So newsflash, just a newsflash, we all go to the same medical schools and take the same exams, have to pass the same national exams, have to pass the same board exams. So guess what? If you see someone that's in a profession, they have the exact same level of education, the exact same level of credentialing. So like it's only a narrative that society has put out there to make you believe some way, somehow, the color of my skin makes the test that I take different, because I promise you it's not.
But you know what? You might have struggled more because you had other obstacles that you had to face that not every student would have to face. Right. And so, when you think about that in certain careers and going to school and things like that, on top of having to go to school, you have to deal with racism, systemic racism and things like that. So that's another layer.
Another layer on top of just the work by itself. Absolutely. I just want to add to it too, from a cultural perspective. We have to rewrite the way our narrative in our culture, because that is the notion that we're incompetent, that we don't support each other. And so we have to rewrite that. And you rewrite that, you don't have to do it from a macro level, from a micro level, just from one person to the next. It's how you start the change, right? So sometimes when we want change to happen, change can start from just what I'm doing. I am working with some of our colleagues, and I think we have such a wonderful connection. We support each other because when we are the minority, right? We're women of color. And so when I'm working, we often talk, we have a group chat and we're talking to keep that connection, because there's sometimes you feel isolated depending upon what assignment you're doing, what you're doing. Off to the side, you often feel unsupported. But we check in with each other. Just sometimes checking in with each other is making a difference. Even if I don't know, someone, what they're actually doing or how to help them with that assignment, I'm checking in. Are you doing good? How you doing? Is there anything I can do to help you? Even if I can bring them something to eat or just have a phone call with them, that's supporting them through the process. And I think that we have to rewrite that narrative about our cultural perspective of things.
And I want to say this as I'm listening. I get that it's a lot of extra work, right? You may not know everybody in the company that looks like you. We're not saying you have to be friends with everybody in the company that looks like you, because that holds you to another standard, which is more pressure, which adds to why we as people of color have more stress anyway. But all we're saying is, don't be intentional. Don't have the intent to bring someone else down because you believe you may be the only one to be successful, because there are 2 Black women and one is only going to be successful because of historical things that have happened. All we're saying is help each other. And I'm not just saying help only people of color, but I'm saying don't intentionally try
to be an obstacle to the other person. Don't be an obstacle.
And I'm thinking that we already have obstacles. When we think about historically how somebody was saying about, I think maybe you earlier were saying about, the perception that we're unintelligent, things like that. There's actually a theory, Murray's theory. So this was actually taught that intelligence was hereditary.
Correct.
And so that's why, white people were smarter than Black people. And that's what you were taught in school. So if you went to medical school, when you went to college, you were taught this theory that all of intelligence was genetics. And that's why there was the race achievement gap. Yeah, there's a race achievement gap. And it's really systemic racism, but we're thinking, people are like, well, why are, the white kids scoring higher, have higher GPAs, scoring higher on the SAT, ACT, college entrance, and all those things. It's the systems. It's not that it's hereditary, that it's genetics, but that's the theory that was taught, that whites were intelligently inferior or superior to Blacks. People bought into that, which is why, they go to the white doctors and not the Black doctors and things like that. Well, we have to put a stop to it. But how are we going to put a stop to it if I'm still trying to bring you down? And it's that generation after generation, like only one person can be successful, and I want to be that one person.
Right.
So I'm going to bring you down in whatever ways so that I can rise to the top.
Correct.
And and we are just perpetuating that stereotype, because guess what? If we're all successful, then those racial disparities are going to start to decrease.
Exactly.
But if we keep pulling each other down, we're perpetuating that stereotype and enabling that to happen.
But the truth is the truth and the reality is, unfortunately, there are corporations, organizations, institutions that still only accept X amount of people of color, or they only promote X amount of people of color. I hear, and this is just throughout life, you hear stuff like, well, we've already hired a Black manager. And then the Black manager said, well, I can't hire a bunch of Black people, or I can't hire, but if they're Asian, I can't hire Asian, because the perception will be X, or the perception will be
And
Y.
I can't stand that. When you get in a position, because other ethnic groups are not worried about that. So the dominant population, white people are not worried about who they hire.
Right.
So they hire who they want to hire, who they think is good for the job. But I do know Black people that are in positions where they hire, and they don't hire other Black people because they are afraid that they're going to lose their job. And I see this in athletics, where you can be an AD and you may not hire a Black coach because you're a Black AD, and that's limited. I see that in athletic director. And so, you can be in charge of hiring.
Yeah, the athletic director is in charge.
Yes. But then you're not going to hire a Black coach because of how that might look, because you're already a Black coach. I see it with head coaches. You may be a Black head coach, but then you don't hire a lot of Blacks on your staff, because what's that going to look like? You're hiring too many Black people. But other ethnic groups don't worry about that.
Nobody.
So you hire who you want to hire. But when you're a person of color, you're worried about hiring too many people like you.
And then that
what are you worried about?
But then that also then perpetuates the crabs in the bucket, because if you already know only a certain number will get hired, so I gotta be the best. And then that's when you get people in interviews that know the next person that's gonna interview, especially like in a small community like coaching. I'm just using coaching for example, but in a small community, only 4 Blacks are going to apply for the job. But then now I'm one of them, so I got to say something in that interview room that's going to make me look good, but probably somebody else in that. I mean,
and it just doesn't feel right, because when you think about it, right, again, going back from a cultural perspective, because a lot of this has to come from some place. People of color, if you think about whether they be Asian, Latina, African American, wherever, people of color typically come from cultures that are more collective, where they're more family oriented, right? And this is not a bad or good thing, it's just that it's what's natural for our communities. And so it is more natural that we have a sense of community, right? So I'm always thinking about a sense of community, and a sense of community is being supported. So as we continue to have more of an individualism sort of perspective of things, it's outside of our norm. From a cultural perspective, it's outside of our norm. And it should feel really different and weird that you're there. Because I don't feel comfortable looking around the room and I'm the only. I don't feel comfortable. I prefer a very diverse environment. So if I am the only, I don't feel good. So if I cut somebody at the knees because I wanted to be the only, I don't feel good, because now you've isolated yourself. So while you're there in that position, you don't have a supportive role. So we have higher levels of work stress that, and then that comes home to your family, like, and that impacts your health, right? So it creates certain kinds of health determinants that we just don't have to have: high blood pressure, diabetes, all these things start to happen. So it's not just like in the workforce, it impacts the rest of your life. So when you don't sit there and really think about this from a collective perspective, you feel better when you're in an environment that is more diverse. That's the more true nature of this country that we live in, this world that we live in, right? So it's more about that and how it impacts you from different perspectives.
And I think it starts all the way like school age children. I see this happen in school, where people won't help each other. So you had, somebody like you is struggling, but you're not going to take the time to help them.
Right.
Because, going back to, you want to be that, best student. My students have always done well in school, and I tried to, they always helped, because I taught that you want to help each other, pull each other up or whatever, and they tried to help each other. But it amazes me when I see, other students of color not doing that. You know, they don't want to reciprocate. They don't want to help, you know, when they see somebody struggling. And that bothers me because when it starts at the, you know, if that's happening in school, then what's going to happen in the workforce, the things that we're talking about. And as you go up each level, it's going to be harder and harder and harder. You know, I truly believe, you know, the more resources and support you have, the more successful you're going to be. But if we don't support and we're not each other's resource, it makes it's a struggle.
I've seen it where friends don't help each other. Even in school.
Friends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, because you got to remember, just because someone smiles in your face doesn't mean they're your friend.
Always trying to take your place, the backstabber. Backstabber. Yo, for real though, I mean, no, seriously. Think about it. Think about how many, I hate you, undercut. And so they're actually close to you because they want to know what you're doing. So they know how, they can get ahead over you. They know that you need help on an exam and they have notes that they can help you with because they're better note takers. They're not going to help you. They're like, oh, you know, I will study. Just little things that we do that impact someone else's life negatively when we have an opportunity to help.
Yep.
And this doesn't happen just like in school and careers, but I'm thinking even personally, like how many times have you seen women, like in relationships, try to, you know, bring somebody down, you know, or tell the boyfriend, partner, or whatever, something negative.
They see you happy and all of a sudden, right, Michelle, they just, something flips. You can tell that there's a change because they see your relationship thriving. And then
jealousy, right? But why not like, oh, Michelle has a great relationship. I want that. How do I get that? Right. Have some dialogue about what's working and what I can do. Right. But instead, you know, I immediately go to how can I mess that out?
Misery loves company. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, think about it. You have people that do one thing and I know the other. Remember, we were having the couples dinners. So we could I love that. We could raise couples up because that's supportive of couples as opposed to, well, it's just not working, then bad talking, the spouse, or like that's not what I need. I mean, because y'all every time y'all are his side. I mean, but that's a good thing. I mean,
because you don't want somebody, see, and that's what I'm talking about, because sometimes it's a hater. You know, you tell me something, maybe you're mad at Eddie about something or whatever. You know, as women, we just vent, you know, we can talk about our partners, but nobody else can. Right. But you know, I'm just listening, right? And yes, I might be on Eddie's side because
we know you, we love you, but we like she be over the edge sometimes.
It's the haters, the ones trying to pull you down. They're like, girl, I wouldn't take that.
I wouldn't take that girl. He be on the curb, and she be on the curb trying to get him.
Exactly.
But it doesn't, we're saying all this, but we're sitting here because we have been together for over 3 years and we know it works. We know we don't like hearing when people say, I can't have girlfriends, you can't trust girls, you can't trust women, you can't, because you can.
Absolutely.
Yes. And that's what we hear.
They make you better people.
Yeah,
they do. I mean,
if you find the right ones, if you find the right ones, you know, so you have to be careful and, you know, I would say select your friends wisely. But friendship is so empowering. You know, it's such a great resource, like you were saying, you know, it's a big network. And, you know, I think that's really important.
And it brings peace. Like
to your spirit.
To your spirit. I mean, I'm happy being here. I mean, I'm happy in general, but having that connection, knowing I have people that got my back, no matter what. And I mean, no matter what. But really,
Michelle said she might need to draw a line on something.
Yeah, I'm not going to jail for nobody.
It's like, I'm telling you.
I'm not getting fired. But for real, you can, we can, our directives are.
Well, I say, think about how you would feel if you were in a position where you were a newbie to a company, or you needed help and you didn't really know what was going on, you didn't know a lot of people and that you were around, and there was somebody else there that looked like you were similar types of people, and you would want them to help you. So why would you turn around and bring someone else down, or intentionally omit information that would help them, or just not help them with whatever it is that they need to feel better, to succeed? I mean, so my gender directive would be to be there for someone the way that you would want them to be there for you.
Yeah, so like treat others like you want to be treated. You know, that's the golden rule, right? Yeah.
So my gender directive is find network within your school, if you're going to school, or within your field of study or your field of work, and find networks where people are actually there to support you. So there's chapters within different companies or different fields of study to support you so that you're not feeling isolated.
So my gender directive would be to mentor somebody. We're all in different spaces. So even, you know, like in your career, if there's somebody new coming in, like Michelle said, be a mentor to them. You know, with my students of color, I mentor them. I'm writing reference letters for them. I'm helping them get jobs. You know, mentor somebody in your field. And even if you don't work, you know, say you're a stay-at-home mom, guess what? There's young moms, right? You know what it's like to be a mom, or you might know what it's like to be married. So if there's a young person that just got married or in a new relationship or something like that, mentor them. Whatever, you know, whatever your skill set is, whatever you do, whatever you're good at, whatever you're passionate about, find somebody younger than you and be a mentor to them. Because I really firmly believe, like we said earlier, that your success, you know, y'all's success is our success. And so do whatever you can to push somebody up. And also, you'd be surprised when you really help somebody, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It feels good to know that you played a part in somebody and helping somebody be successful.
Absolutely.
It feels so much better to support somebody and see them succeed than to try to backstab or, you know, pull them down or whatever.
Because again, it's not the natural place that we come from. We don't come from that.
And also there's karma.
Yes.
And you know what they say about karma.
So my gender directive probably piggybacks on all, actually. I say, don't be the problem, be the solution.
Yeah.
Don't be a hater.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be manipulative. Don't be trifling. I mean, if you're that type of person, okay, just go somewhere. But I'm saying for real, check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Check yourself, check who you are, check how you are with people.
Get that hate off your
Get
heart.
that hate off your heart.
You know, because sometimes you might, you know, you have those little negative things creeping in.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Go to church. I'm just saying, no, really. Give a look at yourself and see if you're that type of person. And if you are, start making changes. It's never too late. Start making changes because, like everyone said, like Michelle said, you don't want to be that person. You want someone to be there for you because everybody needs help at some point. Like Shirell said, it's all about community. Life is about community. And the more you are a hater, you're isolating yourself, right? And if you have something to give, God gave it to you to give to somebody else.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's
For
what
all you
a
people,
gift is.
right.
A gift is something you give
That's
to
what you
someone else.
give. So you
don't hold it. You
Yeah.
give.
So all I'm saying is be true, be real, and don't bring people
down. See, you can have this. You support each other.
Exactly.
So make sure you join us
in the den.
Where places don't make you feel at home.
People do.
Bye.
Bye.